Welcome. Welcome to Washington. It's great to have you guys here. We've finished 2 weeks of practice, and things are definitely moving at a fast pace. The tempo of our practices have been just where the coaches want them right now, and it's just fun to be able to be back at the gym with the whole team and working through our philosophies together as a unit every day. It's been really positive on the court, and there hasn't been a day where we've had to coach an ounce of effort. So it's been fun. I've been having a lot of fun this year.
What kind of difference have you noticed between last year and this year?
Huge. I mean, like 180 degrees. I think last year the players were all on pins and needles and a little apprehensive about such a dramatic change in a system, and with that came a lack of confidence. And then when you couple all that together with nearly zero experience on the floor, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. So this year, just the confidence alone, and the motivation is there. It stemmed from the way we finished last year, and we had a fantastic spring. A really good spring. And so it kind of pushed us into the fall, being a more collective unit. Yeah.
The big storyline early last year was just the health of your team. Just this year, how healthy are you? I mean, are you able to get 10 players out there to practice?
As of yesterday, we had 11. Yeah, it's been really good. I think the players have done a nice job of taking care of their bodies. Obviously, we can't control some of those knick-knack injuries or major injuries, if you will. Hopefully, knock on wood, we'll remain healthy. But a lot of things are out of our control. The only thing that our players can do every day is that they take care of their bodies the best that they can, right? But there's things that happen that sometimes you can't control, but we're not focusing on things we can't control. We've been really dialed in and focusing on things we can't control every day.
You can't coach height. You have a 6'4" player. What can she add to your existing
length?
Group you have?
Yeah, certainly brings length. I mean, she is a freshman, so but she's learning every day. Playing a lot faster than she's ever had to play. And obviously, being a freshman. You're not necessarily always playing on instincts because you're thinking a lot and trying to learn and where you're supposed to go and your role and all that kind of stuff goes into play. But she's doing a great job for us.
There have been a lot of successful Aussies come into the Pac-10, the Pac-12. Is it the club programs there that gets them a little more mature even for their age?
Yeah, I mean, just international basketball in general is advanced in their development, and they have some fantastic rules for young people to develop their game. And let me get on my soapbox for a second, because I have 2 daughters that are growing up through youth basketball. And if America learned to implement some of these youth rules that some of these other countries have, I think the development of skill set would be far greater. With our players, not to say it's not, because we dominate in international basketball. American basketball is very advanced, but just the development of a total basketball player versus a set position internationally. They do a really nice job of not allowing zone defenses until maybe 8th grade. And so you can develop not only your defensive ability, but then you can develop as an offensive player too, and you aren't facing a double team in a 2-3 zone every time you touch the ball, right? And there's just a lot, so anyways, that's my soapbox. But I will say that international basketball is predicated on a lot of ball movement and spacing, and that's certainly something that we love to coach.
To dovetail on Percy's question from earlier about using Amber Melgoza more of a play distributor, are you willing to do that this year? Or, I mean, coaching 101 is she's got the hot hand, shoot the basketball.
I'm never going to tell her not to shoot a good shot, ever. We want all our players to be able to shoot good shots. Amber shouldered a lot of load last year, and a lot of it came from her own work ethic and her confidence, right? She believed she was going to make every shot she took, and we still want her to believe that. It's different this year because she's got a target on her back now. People know who she is, and so we really talk a lot about scoring when the ball isn't in her hands, and how she can find ways, and learning the game, having a higher IQ where she can put herself in position to not only make herself better, but to make her teammates better. And it's a job of her teammates to be able to knock down shots and score it when she distributes it. So, a great player makes those around her better, and she wants to be great, so she's up for the challenge.
Who's ready to take that next step around her, to be other offensive-minded players?
Well, I think everybody's ready, to be honest with you. I think we've all grown individually as far as our skill set from one season to now in fall, as well as our confidence. Missy Peterson is probably our most improved player from one year to the next. Last year, as a freshman, she was in and out of practice due to her injuries and didn't finish the year due to another injury. And so she just kind of really didn't have any summer, any fall for us. So it was just she was kind of thrown into the fire for a few games last year. She had an unbelievable spring that led into some high confidence right now. Alexis Grigsby is another kid that, last year at this time probably couldn't make it through a practice. And now this year she's one of our leaders in her heart and hustle every day. So certainly having those two as sophomores bring confidence to the floor, because I think they were our least confident players last year, certainly has helped us. And then you have, Jenna, who, started, she was the only player in our program last year that started every single game. And just she's playing with a calming effect, and she understands. She went from probably, I wouldn't say never, but playing very, very little and just kind of thrown into it last year, as all of them. But as a former walk-on, it's a different mentality maybe to our starting guard all year long. And so certainly having her as a backcourt mate with Amber is certainly exciting to know that, she's back, with them together. And and then our freshmen are doing an outstanding job. They really, really are. I think, Haley Van Dyke comes to us as a California State leading scorer. She just has a knack for scoring. And she can shoot the three. She's strong. And, she jumps really well. She can finish at the rim. And TT Watkins is just all over the place. She leads our team in deflections and steals every single practice.
Coach, what do you think about the non-conference schedule? To be the best, you got to beat the best?
Yeah, I mean, we've always kind of done that, when we've had control of our schedule over the years, that, we're not afraid to play people, and I just think if you don't play them, you can't beat them. And, as a coach, I'm not really interested in padding my own stats. I just want to get out there and compete against the best and, develop Washington women's basketball back to national prominence. And in order to do so, you gotta compete and win some of those games, right? And people could laugh and say you're not ready and whatnot, but as a coach, we like the challenge. We like to be challenged, and it's fun for our players to play against teams that they see on TV regularly, or players that they might have competed against in club basketball through the years or whatnot. So, I just am a big believer in order for us to build the program that we want to build and get back to being one of the top 25 programs in the country year in and year out, we got to compete against those guys.
Do you think the team will need to relearn how to win games? If it's a close game, if it's if they have a lead, how to hold a lead, how they come back again. Just when you haven't had that winning taste, do you lose it, and do you have to relearn all of those things?
I don't know if relearn's the right word, because they didn't have that experience playing through all those wins. They saw it, but we put them in position in practice we compete every day in practice. And so they're winning drills. They're winning scrimmages or controlled scrimmages or situational things that we do every day in practice. And so we put a strong emphasis on winning in practice every single day and competing against each other and against our male practice players. So hopefully that'll translate to, when the lights are on, winning an actual game.
And a successful season would look like what in your mind?
Exactly what Amber says. And Jenna, she reiterated it right. 16 games last year, we won 3 quarters, and then we got obliterated in one of the 4 quarters, right? And being able to put 4 quarters together, and not have such a dramatic dip from one quarter to the next is certainly something we work on in developing our consistency through practices. And also, like Hannah said, is staying together through adversity, and because it's going to come. It's not utopia. There's going to be adversity, and being able to to compete to our best abilities. Individually, yes, but collectively more so.
Do you think that dip last year was because of your depth?
Certainly the way we finished the year with 7 bodies on active members, it was tough. That's not our system, and we like to be able to play 10, if not more, if we had them. And so finishing with 7 was hard, certainly in games, but also in practices. And having to really adjust the last month and a half of how we practice was tough. So having the depth is something that, brings a lot of, positive energy to the court. I do think that everybody's a little bit better. I think that's the case across the country in every team. And it's just how much better are we?
And it's early, but do you plan to continue to rotate the lineups, or are you looking to get a little bit more fixture?
No, we want people to compete every day in practice for that spot. And we're not going to recruit people and tell them they're not going to play until they're a junior. It's just not us, And so, but nothing's given. It's earned every day. And they know that. The returners know that, and the freshmen are learning that right now. And if it's a set lineup, it's because what was earned. And if it's not, it's because that was what was earned. And as a coaching staff, we don't get hung up on who starts a game. We care about who finishes games, and we make sure that the players all know that as well. So, honestly, some of it has to do with matchups. Some of it has to do with game before. Some of it has to do with our practice intensity and our practice consistency or performance, if you will. And some of it has to do with injury. So it all plays a role. And we want our practices competitive, and we want people that maybe don't start to be able to know that they have an opportunity to if they earn it.
Bit of a left turn question. Did the Storms Championship energize your kids and your program?
Absolutely. How could it not, right? There's so much fever going on in women's basketball within our city. I mentioned to our coaching staff, I went to a lot of more WNBA games this summer than I've been in a really long time. And I noticed it early on in their year when they were playing, it might have been the Mystics early on in the season. And they really weren't pressing. And then all of a sudden they came back, and obviously Natasha Howard did so much for that team and just added another dimension, right, to that lineup. And it was just so fun to go watch games and to see the energy and the intensity that they play with. And passing is contagious. And seeing Sue Bird lift up the players that are around her, it's just fun. It's fun to watch, and I just had a great time. And our players loved going to the games, as many as they can go to. And I know that they're friends with some of the girls, and so it just makes it a really special experience to have not only a WNBA franchise in your backyard, but, you know, the world champions and some of the very best players to have ever played the game. And you learn from them. You learn from the coaching staff. You watch intently about what goes on. And you know, I love the four quarters. I love strategy and all that kind of stuff. And it's just fun to watch. And I was ignited. And Sammy Whitcomb, I mean, I was going ballistic about how well she played and she played her role to perfection. And it's fun to be able to share the city with them.
And your building next year.
And in our building right here in Alaska Airlines Arena. Yeah. So it's going to be great.